viewers, I'm your host Lipakshi Khurana with another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's first talk about India-Africa relationship, which is characterized by frequent high-level visits, growing trade and investment, and numerous people-to-people interactions. The newly elected president of Kenya and Rwanda's foreign minister recently made a significant visit to New Delhi. A new chapter in India-Africa ties is being written as the relation between the two sides has changed significantly over time due to shifting dynamics. A report.
President of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto, arrived in New Delhi on a 3-day visit to India on December 4. Ruto was accorded a ceremonial welcome at the presidential palace, where his delegation was greeted by Indian President Draupadi Murmu, Prime Minister Modi and other officials. The Kenyan president also offered respects at the memorial of the country's iconic freedom fighter Mahatma Gandhi. The focus of the visit was on reinforcing bilateral relations in various domains. Ruto held talks with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and said that New Delhi and Nairobi will work together for the benefit of the people of the Global South. India announced a $250 million line of credit to Kenya for modernization of its agriculture sector.
कीनिया के कृषि क्षेत्र का आधुनिकीकरण करने के लिए हमने $250 मिलियन की लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट प्रदान करने का भी निर्णय लिया है। आधुनिक समय की जरूरतों के अनुसार हम टेक्नोलॉजी और इनोवेशन में अपना सहयोग बढ़ा रहे हैं।
Being victims of terrorism, both Kenya and India are unanimous that the menace is the most serious challenge to humanity. While India has suffered at the hands of Pakistan, Somalia-based groups are posing serious challenges for Kenya. India and Kenya agreed to cooperate in the fight against the shared threat of terrorism, with plans for enhanced intelligence sharing, information sharing and coordination between the two nations' armed forces.
We are going to work together to see how we can stabilize and secure that region for the mutual benefit of the people living in the Global South. Terrorism is a big issue both for Kenya and India, and we've agreed that our defense forces will work together in collaboration, sharing information, sharing experience, sharing knowledge and intelligence, to make sure that we deal with the challenge of terrorism.
The first visit of India by the newly elected president of Kenya is significant in many aspects. The MOU between the government of India and Kenya shipyards will pave way for Nairobi to receive assistance in expanding its boat building, repair and maintenance capabilities. Moreover, the concept of defense cooperation gained new momentum and a higher degree of awareness as a result of the joint vision statement and joint statement on maritime security. Kenya's integration into India's Sagar and Indo-Pacific policies appears to be progressing with the release of the joint vision statement between the two countries on maritime cooperation in the Indian Ocean region. Kenya and India have a relationship characterized by frequent high-level visits, growing trade and investment, and numerous people-to-people interactions. Indians in Kenya make up a sizable community of almost 1 lakh individuals. In addition to enjoying economic success in the country of East Africa, this significant community has forged strong bonds over many generations. The relationships between Kenya and India have been strengthened in large part by these people-to-people exchanges. Rwanda's Foreign Minister Vincent Biruta also arrived in New Delhi on an official visit to further enhance India-Rwanda ties. India said New Delhi's engagement with Rwanda has been consultative, response-based and focused on developing Rwandan capacities and human capital. A new chapter in India-Africa ties is being written as the relation between the sides changed significantly over time due to shifting dynamics.
And now let's move to Pakistan's Lahore, which again topped the global pollution ranking with an unhealthy air quality level. Recently, Lahore's air quality was recorded the worst in the world, with the air quality index at a hazardous 400. The second largest city in Pakistan continues to suffer from a smog crisis that has affected the health and livelihood of millions of people. Children in Lahore's hospitals could be seen struggling to breathe. Health officials estimate that in the last month, there has been at least a 50% rise in pediatric patients presenting with respiratory issues exacerbated by poor air quality. A report.
With poor air quality, Pakistan's second largest city topped the worldwide pollution index once more on December 7. Lahore has now the worst air quality in the world, with an yearly air quality index AQI of 400, which is considered hazardous. Millions of people's lives and health have been impacted by the ongoing pollution issue in Lahore. Children in the crowded pediatric emergency rooms in Lahore are struggling to breathe. Holding nebulizing devices, parents could be seen engulfing their children's faces in a billow of steam while delivering medication to ease their congested airways. There are more waiting in queue for treatment. For weeks, a dense haze has obscured the sun and covered the streets in a thick layer of fog at night in Lahore, forcing 11 million inhabitants of city to breathe in toxic smog. The problem of air pollution gets worse during the cooler months in Lahore and neighbouring areas as temperature inversion keeps a layer of warm air from rising and traps pollutants closer to the ground. Once known as the City of Gardens, Lahore last year claimed the title of world's worst for air quality. Health officials estimate that in the last month, there has been at least 50% rise in pediatric patients presenting with respiratory issues exacerbated by poor air quality.
If our OPD was, for instance, of 10,000 in the last month, from them, like around 6,000 to 7,000 patients presented to us with a complaint of upper respiratory tract or lower respiratory tract infection.
According to the UN Children's Agency, outdoor air pollutant killed 154,000 children under the age of 5 worldwide in 2019. In Pakistan, it is one of the top 5 causes of death among the entire population. Dr. Javed Akram, the Provisional Health Minister, says that hospitals in Lahore are on high alert with extra beds and ventilators reserved for emergency cases.
Our pediatric hospitals, they are overwhelmed with burden from the respiratory issues. In any case, the most common cause of infant mortality, obviously we are struggling to have meet sustainable development goals here. The neonatal mortality is mainly driven from gastrointestinal disease and then respiratory disease.
Since the beginning of November, there have been 4 partial lockdowns and campaigns to encourage mask use in an attempt to lessen the burden of health services. Authorities identify poor quality fuel used in automobiles, construction and industrial activities, as well as crop burning as the main causes of the poisonous cloud. Farmers in Lahore and adjacent areas generally light fields to clear leftover rice crops to make room for wheat. In order to completely prevent burning without jeopardizing food security, farmers would need to make expensive investments in specialized equipment. People with lung and heart diseases, diabetes, cancer and asthma in Lahore are negatively affected by poor air quality. Research indicates that the likelihood of these conditions can be elevated by air pollution. According to experts, using artificial rain technology is a temporary fix that will be extremely expensive for the government.
And time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
The US military said on December 7 it was grounding its fleet of V-22 Osprey aircraft after a crash last week off the coast of Japan that killed 8 people on board. Critics in Japan have said the Boeing and Bell helicopter developed Osprey is prone to accidents, although US and Japanese governments reject that claim. The latest crash happened during a routine training mission on November 29 off Yakushima Island, about 1,040 kilometers southwest of the capital Tokyo. At least 400 multi-purpose Ospreys have been delivered and are mainly used by the US Air Force, Marines and Navy in Japan and elsewhere, according to Boeing. The US Navy aircraft carrier deployed to Japan, the USS Carl Vinson, relies on them to deliver some supplies and personnel. The ongoing 28th meeting of the United Nations Conference of Parties on Climate, known as COP28, is an opportunity for governments to try to accelerate action to curb global warming to prevent the most devastating consequences of extreme weather following a year of record temperatures, wildfires and drought. Reports so far show countries are off track to meet a UN target to keep the rise in global temperatures below 2 degrees Celsius, above pre-industrial levels, and pursue efforts to limit it to 1.5 degrees Celsius. At the negotiations in Dubai, countries are hoping to strike a deal on an increase in renewable energy capacity at the global climate negotiations, which will focus on the gaps in the implementation of the 2015 Paris Agreement. A video released on December 5 showed rescue personnel and ambulances arriving at the site of an apparent explosion in Pakistan's Peshawar city. 4 children aged 7 to 10 and an adult were injured in an explosion in the northwestern Pakistani city of Peshawar early on December 5, hospital and rescue officials said. There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the attack. Peshawar, which straddles the edge of Pakistan's tribal districts bordering Taliban-ruled Afghanistan, is frequently targeted by Islamist militant groups including Islamic State and the Pakistani Taliban.
And people in Pakistan appear to have accepted the reality that people go missing, and if they are unlucky, they will suddenly turn up one day. Enforced disappearances is a serious and long-standing issue in the Islamic Republic. Recently, Chief of Pashtun Tahaffuz Movement Manzoor Pashtun was remanded to Islamabad police by an anti-terrorism court on 7-day physical remand in a case registered in Tarnool police station. Manzoor Pashtun was reportedly abducted by Pakistani intelligence services. Supporters of Manzoor Pashtun are saying that the abduction and detention of their leader was yet another effort at pushing Pashtun youth to violence.
On December 7, an anti-terrorism court in Islamabad handed over Pashtun Tahaffuz Movement chief Manzoor Pashtun to Islamabad police on 7-day physical remand in a case registered in Tarnool police station. Earlier, Manzoor Pashtun was reportedly abducted by Pakistani intelligence agencies. The incident was reported a day after he was arrested by the police for addressing a protest to demand free cross-border movement with Afghanistan. The 29-year-old activist was arrested when he was traveling from the Balochistan's border town of Chaman to Turbat. Chaman Deputy Commissioner Raza Athar Abbas has claimed that Pashtun was arrested for firing on police vehicles. However, the PTM has denied the charge. Supporters of Manzoor Pashtun are saying that the abduction and detention of their leader was yet another effort at pushing Pashtun youth to violence.
आज जब हम ने मिस्टर मंजूर पश्तून ने चमन के धरने में ऐलान किया कि आज हम एक बहुत बड़े जुलूस के साथ अपने बलोच भाइयों के साथ इजहार यकजहती के लिए तुरबत जाएंगे और वहाँ पर उनका जो एहतजाजी धरना बैठा है उसमें शिरकत करेंगे। तो जब हम गाड़ियों के काफले के साथ चमन से बाहर निकल रहे थे तो किसी इशारे, रुकने का इशारा या हमें रोकने के बजाय जब हम थोड़ा आगे आए चमन शहर में तो वहाँ पर एफसी, पुलिस, लेवीज और आर्मी के लोग खड़े थे, उनके पर्सनल खड़े थे। उन्होंने हमारी गाड़ी पर स्ट्रेट फायरिंग की। ना उन्होंने हमें रुकने का इशारा किया था, ना उन्होंने हमें रुकने का कहा था। अगर वो हमें रोक देते, गिरफ्तारी से तो हम नहीं डरते, ना मिस्टर मंजूर गिरफ्तारी से डरते, तो हम रुक जाते, गिरफ्तारी दे देते। जब थोड़ा आगे चले गए, अपने साथियों के साथ मशवरा किया तो साथियों ने बताया कि उन्होंने पूरे चमन शहर को अपने मुहासरे में ले लिया है और निकलने का कोई रास्ता नहीं है। तो फिर जब हम वापस आ रहे थे हमने कहा कि चलो ठीक है, फिर हम चमन के दरने में जाते हैं। फिर जब हम वहाँ पर जाने की कोशिश करने लगे तो रोड तो मुझे मालूम नहीं कि कौन सा रोड था, लेकिन वहाँ पर तकरीबन 4-5 गाड़ियों ने, जिसमें तकरीबन 60-70 मुसल्ला लोग थे, उन्होंने हमें घेर लिया। मुझे, नूर बाचा और मुशर मंजूर को अलहदा गाड़ियों में डाल दिया। फिर तकरीबन आध घंटे के बाद हमें इधर उधर घुमाने के बाद मुझे और हमारे जो सूबाई कोऑर्डिनेटर हैं नूर बाचा, उसको छोड़ दिया गया और मुशर मंजूर को ये लोग अपने साथ ले गए।
On several occasions, armed men have abducted political activists and human rights defenders in Pakistan. Enforced disappearances is a serious and long-standing issue in the Islamic Republic. Pakistanis appear to have accepted the reality that people go missing, and if they are lucky, they will suddenly turn up one day. One of the most significant concerns in Pakistan's biggest but poor province Baluchistan is the issue of enforced disappearances. Numerous activists, journalists, and intellectuals have been reported missing, allegedly abducted by security forces or intelligence agencies. According to human rights organizations, such cases have been substantial. Reports have emerged of extrajudicial killings carried out by security forces in Pakistan. Thousands of cases of enforced disappearances remain unresolved in Pakistan.
मोहब्बत गोलियों से बो रहे हो, वतन का चेहरा खून से धो रहे हो, गुमा तुमको कि रास्ता कट रहा है, यकीन मुझको कि मंजिल खो रहे हो। चमन में एक धरना बैठा हुआ है, रियासत की पॉलिसियों के खिलाफ वो एहतजाज कर रहा है। इसी तरह से कश्मीर में पिछले 6-8 महीनों से एक तहरीक चल रही है, पूरा कश्मीर सड़कों पर है, वो रियासत की पॉलिसियों के खिलाफ एहतजाज कर रहा है। इसी तरह से चिलास में कल एक बस पर गोलियां चलाई गई जिसमें 8 लोग मारे गए। वहाँ पे गिलगित में सब्सिडी आटे पे ख़त्म की गई है, वो सारे एहतजाज कर रहे हैं। इसी तरह से बलोच एहतजाज कर रहे हैं। कोई बंदा इस वक्त रियासत से खुश नहीं है।
Baluch and Pashtun political activists have raised the growing issue of enforced disappearances in Baluchistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in the United Nations Human Rights Council. Even though the successive governments in Pakistan have promised to make the practice illegal, people are still being forcibly vanished with impunity.
Odisha, the land of ancient temples, vibrant festivals and rich tribal traditions, is a cultural kaleidoscope waiting to be explored. In a bid to promote its coastal beauty and give rise to tourism, a 5-day-long international sand festival was organized by the government, engaging a large sum of people from around the globe. Let's take a look.
The vibrant state of Odisha is a fascinating blend of diverse cultures, rich tribal traditions, and unique languages. This is one such state in India which would surprise you with its evident beauty every time you dig a little more to understand its social and cultural dynamics. We all must be aware of the most popular city of Odisha, Puri, which is often considered one of the favorite tourist destinations in India because of its serene beach. Not so long ago, the vibrant city of Puri organized its 5-day-long 13th International Sand Festival at its Chandrabhaga beach.
which attracted skilled sand artists from around the globe.
I'm very glad to participate in project in India. It's my composition is matryoshka. It's in Russian tradition.
Today's topic is World Heritage. So me and my friend Irina from Russia, we are working together.
This 5-day-long sand festival brought together skilled sand artists from different corners of the globe to showcase their talent in creating intricate and breathtaking sculptures entirely out of sand. The artists utilized the golden sands of the beach as their canvas, carving intricate designs and sculptures that convey messages.
I'm very fortunate to be invited here to this festival, this world-class festival. I've done a piece that comes from my heart, and to, the wars that are going on, I just want to show peace to the world.
People in thousands of numbers gathered to witness these captivating piece of sand sculptures which looked so lively due to its intricate detailing art. The festival aims to promote tourism, celebrate the rich artistry of sand sculpting, and provide a platform for artists to exchange ideas and techniques. Not only did the festivity attract international sand sculptors, but also celebrated the talents of local artisans. The fusion of global perspectives and local flair created a vibrant tapestry of artistic expression.
पब्लिक तो प्रत्येक साल बढ़ते ही जा रहा है और बहुत सेल्फी लोग करता है और यहाँ के बालू कला का आनंद भी लेता है।
हम लोग को पता नहीं था, इधर आके ही पता चला कि ऐसा कुछ फेस्टिवल होता है, तो ये तो मालूम नहीं था, तो अभी बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। कोई पब्लिसिटी नहीं है तो होना चाहिए पब्लिसिटी, तो और भी लोग जान सके और लोग आ सके।
The festivity was organized by the Tourism Department of Odisha to promote the coastal beauty of the region, making it a must-visit for art enthusiasts and tourists alike. More than 100 artists from countries like USA, Australia, Sri Lanka, Russia, Belarus and Czech Republic participate in the 13th International Sand Art Festival 2023.
Actually, this is the 13th International Sand Art Festival, which is organized by Odisha Tourism Department, because this beach is very famous beach, Chandrabhaga Beach, where lots of visitors they come. And especially for this festival, this is the biggest festival in India in Sand Art Festival, because every year we do this festival, and this year more than 100 artists participating around the world.
Festivities like these play a vital role in preserving and nurturing states' regional as well as cultural legacies. Owing to this, the Indian government is making concerted efforts to promote its national heritage.
Well, the International Sand Festival revolves around diverse themes that reflect the awareness embedded in the artistry. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Goodbye and take care.